Hello. I'm probably Josh, and you've been you just now tuned into a mess of a podcast, um, accompanied by Greenleaf Productions, Gravity Films 4, Frostbite Films, Final Frame, and Wasp Lego Productions on the Brickfilm podcast, and we're going to be talking about writing brick films, what that entails, and hopefully we'll try to stay on track. So, who wants to go first? Who wants to like give their experience on I guess writing their first brick film or the first brick film that they ended up writing?
Ooh.
Oh, well, I guess since no one wants to go, I'll go first because I always have to do everything. Okay, so this entire thing is just gonna be me talking, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the first brick film that I wrote was a lot of things actually. I think it was Daredevil, maybe. It was the first
Brick film was multiple brick films.
Yes.
How does that even work?
Well, because I wrote a lot of stuff, but that never came out, true to my nature. So that was just
Never came out,
part of the process. But I guess the first brick film that I wrote that came out on my channel was Daredevil, which isn't up anymore because I accidentally deleted it. But
I made a review on it.
you made a review, and it was like, I remember I watched it in like a call with one of my friends. Oh, yeah. But yeah, it was Daredevil, and I wrote like the entire season. Then I canceled the show. I do think that it was pretty. Yeah, it was bad, but like, you got to start somewhere. Like Greenleaf blames caught season 2 on Frostbite. It's just the natural cycle of things. You write bad things, and then eventually, after writing something bad, you realize its flaws and its mistakes, and you're able to do better over time.
That brings up an interesting point. When did you guys this was a question that I was thinking of. When did you guys start actually writing things, or was that just from the beginning? Because I know I personally
No.
I was talking to Frost at
first
some point we just decided to write, but before that we weren't actually writing scripts.
You know what had happened? It happened when we started getting lines, because then we were forced to write a script.
That is true.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it was I've always just kind of enjoyed telling stories. Even when I was little, I would write stories. So I've always just kind of enjoyed the writing aspect. So my scripts used to not be as in detail. It would just be sort of short descriptions of how each scene would go. But I've always kind of written scripts for my videos.
Yeah.
So you've never had that horrid period where you didn't write a script.
I mean, I might have not written the script if it was just me animating a fight scene or attempting to at 9 years old.
Yeah, no, that when you said that actually reminded me. I used to write these but before I was making videos, I was writing scripts, and I wrote them on paper. Didn't everybody write scripts on paper before they type them? I feel like that's a phase that everybody goes through. Yeah, so it was
I never
4th grade
did
or something.
I've never done that.
You haven't?
I haven't done that either.
I made comics.
Oh,
yeah, I think
I made comics. Yeah.
Yeah,
I might be able to find.
Oh no, I can't draw. I could never draw.
I wrote comics. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't write either, so there's no difference.
Damn.
I remember the first script I wrote out was for a video called. It was a parody of The Grinch. I don't know if any of you have seen that. It's probably way before you knew me. But I wrote it. I typed it out on the notes function on the Apple devices.
Oh.
And I printed it out like that. It was so cringe. It was bad.
Well,
I'm glad to know I'm not the only one who used to write scripts on notes.
Yeah, I did.
I did that for half a year.
Bro,
my old iPad has some scripts that are written on the Notes app too.
The phone I have right now has a bunch of old scripts.
I had this old Batman Killer Moth script. The villain was Killer, and I wrote it on notes. And I tried so hard to find it, but I never could.
Yeah,
Killer Moth.
Yes, Killer Moth.
No truck
The first
strategy.
the first script that I wrote was a Lego Deadpool, and like it was like maybe like I mean it wasn't even a script. I just wrote down a bunch of jokes. The first like script, like legitimate script I wrote was Crime War. That was like late 2018.
Oh, that shows. That does show.
Yeah. So that was fun.
Yeah,
And
I remember when you did the flute joke, like where he sticks the flute in the guy's ass. And like you like I remember being in the call and you're like, my mom's not gonna let me do it. So but you like
no,
did it
yeah,
anyway.
no, I know I animated a fake scene because my mom said I had to show the clip to my dad and prove whether or not it could be uploaded or not. So I filmed a different scene for Eagles Lester. And then I used the first one.
That's great.
That's amazing.
Alright. So now that everybody's talked about like how they first wrote scripts, what do you guys think about I don't know, what's like a big brick filmer? Or rather, what do you guys think about like, brick filmers? Like a Grasso guy or like a Brick Ranger,
I have a
like
good
the
thing
big
on
boys.
Jack-
What do
I
you think
mean, I
about
feel
them?
like
big
those
men.
guys are good and all, but I feel like a lot of their appeal comes from like their animation and the more visual.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of
Oh,
them
yeah.
kind of lack in areas of like character development and stuff.
Yeah.
Their stories usually aren't too deep. That doesn't go for
Just like
them.
ripped straight
Yeah.
from a comic or something like that. Which
Yeah, I as a
Yeah.
Grasso guy fanboy, I don't take the slander, but I will admit a lot of his videos are just, comic books from like the New 52 era. And he just
Yeah.
like steals from
Especially the
that.
old Batman series is like
And
pretty
it's
rough.
like, why would you even take from the New 52? Like really?
I do what you gotta do, man.
Mhm.
I just never really found the appeal for those brick filmers. Like I just don't even really find them entertaining. Like, I don't.
I mean, I think they're like good inspirations if you're like trying to improve, like actively trying to improve your animation and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's much to gain from like their stories. And especially like if you look at a lot of them, it's like they're not doing it on their own. And this isn't like a bad thing, but you usually see that they have like a pretty big team, like friends who
Yeah. Like wasn't Grasso
It's not
guy
bad.
like even Paradox had Grasso guy write a couple episodes of Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think DT98 films helped them out a lot too. And it's like it's not a bad thing. Like I mean, I think a lot of people
No,
get
it's not a
people to
bad. I
help
think it's
connect
good to have a
with
support system, but it's like swimming. So like first you learn how to swim. Like you're gonna need help, but eventually you have to come to a point where you can just do it on your own.
I'd recommend like trying to, get I'd recommend trying to get better writing on your own before you start turning to like teams of people if you're like just starting out, I think.
Yeah. Actually, on that topic, I just watched Brick Ranger's latest Batman episode. He had like
Oh.
5 other people writing that with him.
Really?
Yeah, like I was watching Brick Ranger's his episode of like Defenders or like Marvel Knights or whatever he calls it, and it's like if you watch until the credits, you can see like how many people like helped in the production of it. Like he
Yeah.
has like
Oh, yeah.
like produced by like 6 different people and like written by like all these other people that like aren't just like
No, it's crazy. And
I
it's
don't
like,
really see how anyone like helps produce a brick film though.
yeah,
It's usually like you just have writers and you might have like a co-editor or something, and then you're the one doing the animation. I don't really produce it.
but
I
like
don't know.
the funny thing is, it's like well, where did all of that like advice go into? Like what?
I will say a big brick filmer that I do think has some pretty good writing is I forgot his name. I think Rad Visuals. Rad Visuals Moon Knight series is like really good for me, and I like it. I can tell that it's like basically just Jeff Lemire's Moon Knight run, but like even then, it's still good. I like it. I think the writing's nice.
Well, I feel like that brings like a issue that I think is kind of prominent, originality.
Mm.
A lot of the good series, I think there's a lot of like, oh, this part of the series came from this comic or this movie. I don't know how much like originality there is with a lot of the bigger people, and just smaller people. Like, I don't know, I just get really tired of being like, oh, this is my Batman series. It's an adaptation of The Long Halloween. Or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
mean,
lot of Batman series tend to like lean towards like an earlier Batman, and then it's
Yeah.
like he's taking down like a crime boss or something. And I don't think that's like inherently bad, you know. But like it's always the same story that they're copying off of.
I think the
It's
thing
not
is
even.
a lot of brick filmers, they copy like Batman stories. With a lot of people who are praised as being original, they kind of just copy like things that aren't Batman. There's always going to be nothing's like completely original. I think
Yeah.
originality in a sense is it's overpraised. It's not. It's because copying things is inevitable. That kind of general idea
Yeah,
of having
that's why I
inspiration
think
is not the same.
personality is important.
Yeah, but let's see. There's a difference between, straight up copying something and being like influenced by it. Like
Yeah.
you could,
Yeah,
like you could see a Batman something or another, like a movie, and be like, I want to do a Batman, and you could go and like write your own story and make it completely different. But that doesn't make it like, you're still influenced by that movie. It's still different.
Yeah,
yeah,
I think a big part about writing is like finding your own personality in it. Because I feel like that's the thing that like happens a lot when people are trying to like copy something. It's that you can tell it's a copy because there's no work put into it to like make it different or to try to do something new with it or do
Right.
anything with it really. And that's where you get that personality from. Because when you try to do things differently or when you're thinking of ideas, when you're really pushing yourself to do something that's not, you know, just like what your inspiration was, that's really when it comes to shine and like gets good. Like I can see influences in like every brick film or like every movie that I watch. But just because I see those doesn't mean that it's like a copycat.
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah.
It's just, and it's not just with like, it's not just with Batman. Like, this is just kind of like, I feel like in general the brick film community, you know, we're more focused on doing like adaptations of things that already exist than original things, I suppose. Like every once in a while you get like something that's like actually an original concept, but they're so few and far between that it's like, I don't know.
Like
It's difficult to sort them out, I suppose.
Yeah.
like when you say that, that reminded me of do you guys know Electric Lego? Because he
Yeah,
has a
Yeah.
series called
Yeah.
And I know Gravity's watched this, but he has a series
Yeah.
written by Evan and Jason, and he's animating it. It's Sass, and I actually really like that show.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been watching it as it's coming out, and I recently like rewatched the first like season because it just like ended, or the first season, and I think like there is some problems in it, but like it's super refreshing to see like an original series that takes it's like it does such a good job. Like by the finale, I was like, there's like a couple of really good like emotional moments. That's like it's like I feel like there's a lot of there's a big lack of characters, like just personality in brick films, and usually you don't really find yourself caring for characters, or um, they don't really have much going on for them. So it's really different and like nice and refreshing to see a video that actually does that and does it really well.
I haven't heard of this song. Check that out.
Oh yeah, you should check it out. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's definitely got its like issues, but I feel like overall, it's like the good definitely outweighs the bad.
That was great. What I was thinking of was I forgot which YouTuber did it, but have any of you guys seen the Protectors of the Earth brick film?
No, I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that either.
It's like a was it like
Let me
40
check it
minutes
out.
long or something like that? So it's like a film. It's really good. Like I mean, as far as I could tell, it's original. And there's like it's just, I mean, it's not the best thing I've ever seen, but it's like there's a really interesting twist at the end. I don't know.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I actually saw that.
I think I've seen this before.
I'm pretty sure it was inspired by like a. It was like that one movie. Oh, Pacific Rim. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I've seen this before. I don't remember much, but I've seen this. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
It came
that's
out
what it
5
was
years ago,
inspired
though.
by. I haven't seen Pacific Rim, but I could tell that it was inspired by that. And even then, I still really liked it.
I mean, wasn't Pacific Rim like? I mean, I haven't seen it either, but isn't it like robots versus monsters or something?
No. It is like a mecha thing, but like.
Well, that wasn't this. There weren't any of that.
I know. I think it was like the plot. I don't know. I don't know. This thing just reminded me of that. I feel like it was inspired by Pacific Rim. I don't know. I don't really remember. Did someone just join?
The first thing.
Oh, he's back. Oh yeah. But like, going from originality. What do you guys think are the biggest problems you faced when writing scripts for Brickfilms?
I mean, like originality is definitely one I've had issues with. I think it's something that a lot of people have issues with is they get inspired by something and then they want to copy it. So it's good to break away from that. But another big thing I think with that I've seen is like dialogue. I feel like a lot of people have like pretty messy dialogue. And
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Like I think some good tips to like help improve your dialogue are like trying to make it sound as natural as possible. Like try saying your lines out loud and just think, would a normal person say this? Like sometimes you hear a line and it's just like the most over descriptive, like it's just like really weird and odd to sound like listen to. And so I feel like dialogue is a big thing that people should work on improving.
I also think
You've
pacing.
written. Oh, pacing. Yeah,
Yeah,
that is an
pacing
issue.
is that.
Yeah, I've had an issue with that too.
Yeah, because there's a sort of like it's almost, at least for me, there's like a sort of push to make it shorter in brick filming, I guess, because animating takes a lot of work, obviously.
Yeah.
So if you can minimize that, it feels better, but sometimes that comes at the risk of the pacing.
I also feel like
And it also that sort of thing also tends to lead to it'll blend into the animation, so you end up getting things like a lot of freeze frames and stuff like that.
Right. Exactly.
yeah, I feel like an issue for me when I write, is definitely trying to make my scripts longer. I know some people like write these naturally like really long scripts, but even if it is a brick film, you don't want it to come out like 3 minutes long. Beware. And it's like the issue is like it's a brick film, so like you'll watch these videos on YouTube or whatever, and they'll tell you that like 2 pages is like a normal scene length, or like a page a minute or something. But like that's not always true, because in a film it's just 1 second is a second, but for a brick film or an animation, it's like your FPS is like the determining factor for how the film is going to turn out. And most people like animate in like the tens range, like like 12, 15 FPS, somewhere in that ballpark. And there's a lot of movements that take place within like a second, and there's a lot of stuff that can take place within a second when you're animating. Because like, have you guys ever like watched a not a brick film, but like just like an actual like animated like cartoon? Have you guys ever like tried to skip something? Because I have.
Yeah.
And when you skip, there's so much you miss in between that, because the FPS like is such a determining factor in everything that happens in an animation. So it's like when you're writing these scripts, you can write 20 pages and the video will come out like 4 minutes long, and it doesn't matter because you didn't animate enough to fit that page length.
Just out of curiosity, how long was the script for Beware then?
7 pages.
It was 7 pages and it turned out 3 minutes.
Yes.
Wow.
It was all written by Inferno.
Yes, I blame it on Inferno. No. Inferno doesn't take responsibility for writing the first scene. Inferno, if you're watching this, you a bitch. All I gotta say. Period.
I mean, I don't know why you trust Inferno. Have you seen Lego Superman?
We don't talk about that here.
Yeah. No.
He offered to add that into the saga.
You should have taken him up on that.
You should have. That would have been great.
Like, sorry, MSL, but his can't compare.
What else has he even made? Like, as far as I know, isn't that like has he made any other like legitimate?
Wait, no, we
There's like
can't.
a bunch of campus stuff.
This is going to turn into the podcast about roasting Inferno.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Like Jonathan, when it says Inferno in the intro, but you voice Penguin, because Inferno didn't send his lines. And then you remember when you like commented to like that you liked the video or you watched the video or whatever, and then like he said that you're like shit posting in his comments.
I wasn't shit posting. No, Gravity, you were there for that. That was so unfair. He just didn't send the fucking lines. I watched an hour-long video for him, so he would send the lines, and he didn't want.
Oh yeah. The funny thing is, I feel like your Penguin impression was actually a bit better.
Frostbite, you said you put it on in the background while you were doing something else.
Yeah, but he didn't know that.
Well, he does now.
Yeah, as if anyone's gonna watch this. Come on.
Yeah,
Talking into the void.
Yes.
No, you don't have anything better to do, Cameron. Come on.
Yeah.
But originality is
Can we get a Cam I guarantee?
I want my Cam I guarantee.
Yeah, Cam I, if you're watching this, can we get a Cam I guarantee?
Alright, Frostbite, what were you saying?
Well, I was saying, like, with originality, it's an issue, but I don't really feel like it's the biggest issue out there. I feel like it's overly focused on. The thing is that, like, as long as you have like a decent understanding of like how to do your own thing, I think you're okay.
Well, that's really the issue. Like you look at a lot of brick,
feel like, yeah,
and
it's like a lot of brick filmers here. Yeah, a lot of brick filmers here are like less original than like the average, like, I don't know, filmmaker or art creator. Like brick filmers, they don't become brick filmers because they like it. They become brick filmers because they saw Force Player and they like superheroes. There's no like originality in there. But with like other forms of media, it's completely different, like claymation and like other stuff like that, like actual filmmaking. There's a genuine passion there. And brick filmers are just really like unmotivated. Like the general timeline for brick filmers, like always start out when I'm like young, and they make a bunch of like bad brick films. And I'm having fun, but I'm probably ripping off something that everyone's like, oh, you should improve on your animation. And then it becomes a chore, and then you have school, and you just quit. Not really any room for like doing anything new there. People just join for like only 10-15 meetings.
But then you have people like Frostbite who are only using brick filming as a tool, a means to an end, if you will.
Yeah, that's kind of how I've always saw it.
Yeah,
like
a weapon of mass destruction.
Honestly, you're kind of a fake brick filmer. I mean, get out of this podcast. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you, but I think there is some passion there. I mean, like I kind of started because I liked making movies. I used to like make movies with my sister and stuff, but it just like there comes a point where like your sister gets older and she doesn't want to like star in your crappy movies, and like people don't want to be in your crappy movies. And I also liked Lego, so I started making animations because I was watching Brickfilms on YouTube. And now it's just sort of blossomed into this like passion for just animation in general. And I found it like a more fun way to tell stories than live action.
Yeah, I mean, I've always had the passion for like cartoons and like animation. I like stop motion to a degree, but like it's never been my like end all be all. I'm more interested in like 2D animation, 3D. I mean, yeah, I'm more like Jonathan, just using it to get the story out.
I also
But the
think
stories never do come out, do they?
not really.
Yeah.
No, but I think it can also like you can change over time. Obviously, like that was kind of me. Like for me, it was originally I did it just because I liked Legos as a kid, but now it's kind of changed where now it's just an avenue to get the stories across, like you were talking about.
Yeah,
change.
but that's what happened to me too. Like I just have a
Well,
lot
actually,
of Legos. So
I like how me, Greenleaf, Gravity, and Jonathan have just been like carrying this entire podcast on our backs. Well, Wasp
I
and
don't know
maybe
what to
barely
fucking
occasionally.
say. It's so confusing.
Well, you just kind of cut Wasp off. He was gonna talk, you jerk.
Oh, sorry, Wasp.
I was finishing my sentence.
Well, then I'm not sorry. I'm gonna need a chiropractor after this.
Ooh boy, yeah.
All right, so how much have we exhausted of like actual speaking of like
It's been
good
like
content?
almost 30 minutes.
Yeah, we might be good right here for an
You
episode
haven't
one.
paid attention to the clock. We started
Ooh,
like
should we do the conclusion, boys?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, who would like to do the conclusion?
me, because I started. And I'm the
He
leader.
did the introduction, now he does the conclusion.
Okay, fine.
So, this is the end of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed listening to our very sexy voices. And, this was Josh, Greenleaf, Gravity, Frostbite, Daddy Kenobi, Wasp, from the Brickfilm Bros podcast. All signing out.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Hopefully we do not see you later.